Thank you all for coming. It's a good topic, how to 10x your business in 10 years. And our panelists have collectively taken their collective revenue of $200 million and converted it into $2 billion in the last 10 years. So it's our opportunity today to scrape their brains and get as much information out of their head as possible. So the first half, I'll try to do that. And then the second half, it's the mantle will shift to you and you get to ask questions. Next up, Rajesh Sinha. He's got a Bachelor's of Engineering Computer Science from Amravati University. He's CEO magazine ranked him #1 CEO in New York, New Jersey. Welcome, Rajesh. All right.
I realized that I have vision, but all my employees, do they carry the same vision? No. It took me a lot and many years to translate my vision to all of them. And I think that's one of the success factors for us to grow. We all have passion and vision, but it should not stay with a small group of people at the top level. It should translate all the way down. And if we can articulate and let people digest that, I think that's the key factor. And the second part, I will say, people and customers, both are equal. Somebody says customers are more important. I feel employees are equally important. So balancing both of them, having repeat customers and long-term employees who stays with you, I think these are the key factors, and rest of the other elements we'll talk about it. Thank you.
So my question to you is, in any of your businesses, was there a written business plan put into effect? First, written down, and did anybody sign it? And did you then follow it on a monthly basis internally or with an external consultant? Anyone? Business plans? Right?
So, as I shared with you, being a member of YPO, I attended some Columbia programs. And 16 years of our company, building 700 employees, launching 3 products in the market. Realized that 7-8 years we had plans, and plans were changing because of bootstrapping and growing ourselves. But one thing I realized that 4 or 5 years back, that unless until the question which you asked, how do you measure your employees, your department, your team, monthly, weekly, quarterly, annually, we were not doing it in a very structured way. And last 4 years, last 2 years, I would say, we have been very, very particular about tools, process, metrics, target, measurement. So we are a true agile company now, and it has taken a lot for us to change the mindset in India, because we have about 550 odd employees in India and rest of them all over the world. So convert them from waterfall to agile mindset, and it's all because of those tools, and the metrics helps us to track. Agile is all about what's happening on a daily basis, transparency. And one of the great books, Jim Collins' book, I don't know how many of you have read in this room, when you define a metrics in your organization to measure the success, the book talks about, and that stick to my head, and till date I practice it, you got to define in your company minimum denominator to measure the metrics, which everybody understands, not only the boardroom people. The minimum denominator is something, you're doing a project, and project's profitability is your minimum denominator. Walgreens book, Jim Collins says about customer success or customer's profitability, any person comes in their profitability. Same way we defined minimum denominator in our organization, and today we are acquiring an American company which is into e-commerce and merging with a lot of Indian, and we launched an office in Brazil, and we are able to launch merge a lot of Brazilian guys within our company. These are all married to globally with that minimum denominator, and that's the key for us. That's how we have practiced it all these years. Traditional, you define the requirement, one time sign it off, and then come and surprise your customers with the outcome. And so it has a defined requirement. And traditional method, where you define it, then build it, and then deploy it, and then sometimes you have a gap between what customer wanted and what you delivered.
So Rajesh, I'll be very candid with you, and in dealing with clients and within my own organization also, I will share with you that one day my life changed when one guru on a panel like this said to me that if you want something done at your firm, you measure it. Whatever you measure will get done. Whatever you're not measuring will not get done. And so this topic of metrics, most common folks, I think if we surveyed 99% of the owners of the 29 million businesses in the United States and ask them what is metric, I don't think they will have a good answer. Could you amplify a little bit?
For me as a CEO globally, to look at the dashboard and get to know which projects are red, yellow, green, which projects are profitable, which project has been defined with a budget and it is going under or over. It's very difficult if I don't have a metrics parameter defined. So first we defined the process about 3 years back. Then we bought certain tools in the market, from the market, and enforced that tool, adoption of the tool across the company. It's very easy our project managers and business unit leaders to come to us and say, oh, people are not entering the number of hours under which project they are working on, and because of that, you're not able to get the metrics. And maybe when I was young, I used to get upset, but now after running business for so many years, I've digested all these kind of excuses, and now we have a very clear dashboard on mobile, on web, any point of time. You need to be persistent and keep on asking, enforcing that, because you'll get those excuses about the metrics and P&L, and our measurement is every week we want to know the burn chart. How many of you are working on that project and how many of you have delivered, not delivered, and that is for us metrics. And our denominator is each client, each project-based P&L is our metrics. So that's how we measure.
Thank you. Did you see a leadership style, and is it working and what's not working? Share with us personal secrets. Tell us, what are you doing to develop yourself and grow as a leader?
So learning, 10, 12 years, I focused a lot in building my own company. Then I realized that I got to learn from the industry. I became a member of Vistage. I became a member of YPO. If you guys don't know, it's Young Presidents Organization. All these forums, they teach you. In these forums, you get to meet with 10, 20 CEOs, hundreds of CEOs. They run a lot of programs of Ivy League programs, and that's where you get new ideas, and mingling, interacting with all these like-minded people helps you develop as a leader or as a good thinker, reader. A good leader is a good reader. You got to know how to read people. Got to know, read the situation and act accordingly based on your experience. And I feel the way I developed myself, I was overweight. Still, I just gained 10-15 pounds recently, but I ran 15 marathons now in the last 7 years. When you run for marathon, half marathons, you pretty much first practice 5K, then go 10K, then you run 15K, then you run half marathon, then you run full marathon. That's how you become an effective leader in my view, and that's how I became whatever little good I did in my life and career with Fulcrum. Good managers, they got to take certain steps, analyze themselves, read how many good decisions they made, how many bad decisions they have made, and that's how they run 5K, and take a snapshot every week, every day, and improve upon it and make the milestone saying that, okay, I have 10 success stories, I think I achieved 5K, now I'm on 10K. My other mantra is, when Fulcrum achieved 10 years of celebration, a lot of my employees, they put their fingerprints on my logo and created a logo for me, and that's the only award I got from my employees. I've been giving all the awards all these years. The one thing they wrote in the back of that logo was, I have a potential to ability to unleash the potential of my employees. And I think till today I believe in that. There are a lot of employees in Fulcrum who have been there for 10 years, 12 years. We give them the awards for that. Analyzing every year they develop the potential in your company. And you got to keep reading that. We do bring a lot of people from big companies and all the top companies, and I have a lot of homegrown employees inside Fulcrum. And I get surprised sometimes. Now I'm more convinced that many of my homegrown guys are ready to take much bigger leadership role because their potential, we have been unleashing it every year, giving them new roles, responsibilities.
But how do you do that, Rajesh? Practically speaking, what do? You sit down with them, you have a questionnaire they fill out, HR meets with them, you send them to courses. What do you do?
So whenever you have this weekly meeting and monthly meeting, there is a performance and metric report comes in, and we have a two times in a year review meetings where formal HR review happens and once in a year appraisal policy. But every quarter we have a feedback session from different business units, and we get a feedback that this person is a good at a technical lead, but he could be a better client service manager. So when we get those feedbacks on quarterly meet, we identify those potential people and we take a risk with them. We give them the role to manage an account and mentor them. So mentor-mentee program we have. So if the senior guy is going to mentor this junior person, and then they will see how successful he is, and that's how we take it forward.
So when I looked at the resumes of our 5 panelists, I said there's no point asking them any accounting question because they're all MBAs and engineers, but they became very successful. So I thought at least I should ask them, how did you become successful not having any accounting education background? Anybody want to volunteer? You did computer science engineering from Amravati, my home state of Maharashtra. How did you become such a good accountant?
I'm not an accountant. I have a CFO. But when you start your own company, you are HR manager, you know HR, you are a finance manager, you are an office boy. So that's how you start a company. And that's what teaches you, because if you don't know the basics of where the money is going to come and where the money is going to go, you're not an entrepreneur anyway. So, and the one fundamental thing which I learned of basic accounting is income minus expenses profit. So I never went ahead, my expenses were always under control. I never went above my income, and wherever it went above income, it has a justified meaning to it, and which I could explain to my board today. But how I learned from the gurus. So first I learned on my own, and then later on I got the CFO and then the accounting firms, and when you work with them, you learn from their experiences, and eventually you become part of that finance engine. So you have experts in all the field, in HR field, and when you hire them and when you groom them, you learn, but you don't need to know I don't know the whole nuts and bolts of all the compliance risks and everything, but I just know the numbers which I need to work on.
Raghu, any call for you? If you have 2 equally qualified candidates, how do you determine which one to hire? So now you think EI can be taught?
I'll give you my example how we do emotional intelligence and how we hire. In fact, in India I conducted one NASSCOM CEO session like this where I coached them for half a day, and this topic was big time discussed there. And how we do in our company is we measure employees in 3 parameters. To x-axis and y-axis. On x-axis we put education, skills and experience. And y-axis we put passion, personality and attitude. By time, you don't get education, by time you don't get skills and experience, but by time you don't get passion, personality and attitude. So we have in HR department and formula and metrics set that when you ask a lot of questions, people have to give the rating how attitude and passion and personality has been judged. So those parameters helps us, because finally we need a lot of customer servicing skills people inside our company, and those are major ingredient for our success.
In fact, I think I very strongly agree with my fellow Rajesh.
There is one thing I played in that forum was a clip from Three Idiots movie. I hope you guys have watched that Three Idiots movie. And in that, Sharman Joshi, when he comes for the interview, they ask him the question and they ask him that, "Mere haan mein haath mila do." And then the guy said that, "Itne ऊंचे से कूद के तो टांग तोड़ा आपने, so आप अपनी नौकरी रख लो, मैं अपना attitude रख लेता हूँ." So that has helped. That stayed with me. I played a couple of times, and I think that's what makes. We need to read about the people that attitude. That makes the difference.
But you didn't answer the question. Can EI be taught?
Can EI be taught? Yes. In HR, you have now cognitive behavior. There are a lot of investage I learned. There were coaches who came in to taught us emotional intelligence. They give you the parameters, as Raghu was mentioning, that there are formulas. Even in investage, I learned that there are formats by which you can know whether CEOs are supposed to be CEOs. There are builders, leaders, innovators. So in and bankers. Sorry, thank you, bankers. So those things I link it with emotional intelligence, and so these things can be taught. Yes.
Thank you, Jay. So to the other Rajesh, is digital transformation myth or reality?
Reality, big time. You're into it. If you are not, you have to be. You will have to adopt every transformation which is happening in our world. We are heading towards the world of IoT, Internet of Things. Everything will talk to everything, right? Today, we are talking, like 2 years back, we talked about structured data and unstructured data and big data. What Rajesh was talking about predictive analytics, social computing. So SMAC was in my view, last year's buzzword. Social, mobile, analytics, and collaboration, which was the portal. So those terms called as a digital transformation terms. Now in my thinking tomorrow, everything is going to be user-centric. You demand, your consumer architecture or business architecture has to deliver that to you. So that's where the digital transformation is to come in. And just a little bit touching point on the branding side. Today, we have to go to a restaurant, we go and search Yelp, right? People have to look for a job, they go and look at Glassdoors. Like that, positioning and branding is going to be the key for everyone in every area. So if you are, and one other thing I'll tell you about our Dine Central product, which is for the food industry. When we were positioning it, it's not about reaching out to everybody in the market, profiling it to the right people, and if those people every time click, they should be able to see Dine Central product. So if relevant people can, so it's all about management principle of product positioning. So if your product is positioned at the right time for the right people, that's the way we are trying to do the branding for our product. So
while you have the microphone, can you talk a bit about sales and marketing, the most important topic at the end, and then I'm going to turn it over to the audience. Can you share with us, as a CEO, do you think a CEO should have to sell what percentage of time, and what are the best sales practices, and what are the best salespeople you worked with? What was common? Any of these topics?
Good question. Towards the end, I'm a salesman. When I started my career, I sold Informix, Computer Associates products, projects, and that's one of the things I know. In my company, I have sales in the format we call it a CART, Customer Acquisition and Retention Team. Customer acquisition, we call it a hunter, and retention team, we call it a farmer. So that's how we segregated the hunting and farming team. Then came the new dimension. The retention team people are from delivery background, technology background. They know how to retain our customers. Coming back to sales and marketing question, and then the third part, who did I work with? In sales and marketing, in the beginning we did a lot of sales. Marketing came in Fulcrum much later. It was all about sales, go out, meet with the customers, close SOWs and MSAs, and sign the product launch deal or implementation plan. but the marketing should come first. Now when I look back, it took me 16 years to build this company. If I had to now go back and do everything from scratch today, I think I'll do marketing first and then do sales second. These are the learnings which I learned to be a CEO first time. And I wish I was a CEO of some other company and I learned on their own expenses, because learning on my own was very painful. But today marketing should come first and then sales. And sales and marketing has a very, very tight relationship. In Fulcrum, we have about 30 inside salespeople. Their job is only to generate leads into different market, for different products, different industry. And when they qualify those leads, it comes to our hunting team. Then hunting team goes out in the market and sells it. Then later on, 3 months down the line, when the account is grabbed, then the farming team comes into picture and they take it over. If you look at the link between inside sales and marketing, then hunting team and then farming team, there is a common thread goes continuously, which is marketing, positioning of our products. The products has matured. Every time your customer needs to hear what's new in your product, what's the value creation you're doing, and it goes all the way in this 3 journey. People who inspire me and the great team members, sometimes I learn from a very junior salesperson and learning from my VP sales. And 2 of my bosses who hired me, Satish Kini and R. Badrinathan, I still respect them. They were the great mentor for me. When I joined first company in Seeds in Mumbai, the guy, Satish Kini, he hired me and said that I've hired 3 fresh graduates just to teach you and become a management consultant, and gave us a proposal to read for 2 to 3 months. And I was telling my friend, we got to go and sell, and he's asking us to read the proposals. But I thank him because he taught us what the basic management consulting is. And we used to go to Elder Pharmaceuticals in Washi, I remember, and the guy said, you're a management consultant, emphasis on IT. Do you know what is time management? You're killing my time, get out. So from those kind of gurus I learned, and that's what I cherish today.
So, Rajesh talked about XY axis, that people need to be good on both axes. We have 5 people on the panel that are excellent on both axes. And so now's your time to take this opportunity to help grow your business. Yes?
The question is, how do you deal with competition? So far the discussion has been on the internal processes, innovation and stuff. But when you go to the market, you see everybody else is also trying to do the same thing or trying to project themselves doing the same thing. How do you fight that, and what has been the specific strategies?
What business are you in?
Every company and everybody has a USP, unique selling proposition. And the way you sell as a CEO, you need to look at it whether your salesman can also sell the way you sell. If you can sell, you can beat any competition if you go for any meeting. Typically, what happens is, you as a company go and squeeze your complete company value in front of your customers. As long as you can show your customer the complete value creation, not return on investment, ROR, rate of return. What you're providing is continuously going to give them the return out of your product or services. You are carving out your competition. And more, as long as you're believing in yourself, your products or services, and your passion and your commitment is right in front of them, my gut feel and whatever I have done is, I just go with my confidence. I know my product, I know my belief factor. If we promise, we will deliver. Else don't promise. So whatever your core value system by which you go and sell, believe, translate that to rest of the people in the organization. There might be other companies also doing very well. Sometimes you will lose to your competition, but you will learn out of it. And continuously mature out of competition, but the way you position is by value creation. If your customer gives you $1 million revenue, you better give them $2 million or $3 million in return. And if you can convince the customer through your value they are getting that return, chances are your competition is not convincing them for that.
The question.
First of all, congrats to all of you for achieving that 10x growth. Really encouraging to all of us. So as individuals, we typically tend to have our own role models or people we look up to and want to be someone like them, down the road. So as leaders of companies, if you think company as a human being, like Mitt Romney, I think famously said. So as a company, who are your role models?
So most recently, what I'm very, very amazed by our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, the way he runs the country, the way he ran Gujarat. I feel that he was like a CEO. So even though we do our own bit of job, we always look at leaders like them. And but I learned from different bits and pieces. I may not agree with Mr. Modi's all 100% view, but most of his views I really agree and admire, and I cherish and imbibe into my way of working. Same way, I go back and look at the way Chanakya did, and Chanakya way of doing things. I look at the way Mr. Obama runs, and he stands as a leader in American economy. So, and then comes to Elon Musk kind of guy. I get really, really inspired by him. The way he brings the innovation and changes the life for all of us. So guys like him inspires me a lot.
Just to clarify, I want to know, as a company, as Fulcrum, do you want to be the next Amazon or Facebook or?
Okay, what is it?
Trend, trust, I can give you my honest answer. Our vision statement is to be a thought leader in the industry we operate in, and thought leader comes within us by learning, imbibing, and digesting, and then delivering it. Our mission and vision statement is also that by 2020 we want to be 50-50. 50% of our revenue will come out of our products and services. I personally haven't looked at any company in the industry or anyone to help me define that. It comes from us, within us, and that's the role model we create ourselves, and that's how we chalk out our path.
So, fellows here, like, if somebody from here need some mentors or some advices, would you guys help in that regards?
TIE is for that, and we are a member and part of TIE, so we'll always mentor you. That's what the TIE is all about.
Alright, cool. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Navneet, and thank you for the panel for a great discussion. Quick question that I had was, being in the money management business and being in Wall Street for the last 20 years, one of my favorite quotes is by Baron Rothschild, who says, "There's money to be made when there's blood on the streets." So obviously talking adversity, talking about what happens when things go wrong. And my second best quote that I remember is from Mike Tyson. He says, "Everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face." So what happens when things go wrong? What happens when there is adversity? What happens when there is chaos? And how do you deal with it?
Whenever there is a chaos, there is an opportunity. And whenever something bad is happening, there is a good is likely to happen. It's all a matter of how you put your strengths together to look and have the ability to see something positive out of it. So we all go through, and in Fulcrum, and as a leader, we always go through certain challenges. There was a time my expenses went up and my income, and for a few months it was very tough. You got to make certain calls, you got to communicate, and you got to look for the resources within your degree 1, degree 2, degree 3. Open all the avenues when you hit with the failures, and don't hit the all avenues which are degree 10th or 5th. First look at around you, what your people can do, what you can do, what other things can be seen by you. So more and more you see the opportunity which are lying around you, you might discover, pick up, and then handle your crisis faster. My philosophy to it. My philosophy, which I believe, is life is like a river. You will find those bigger stones, and which will try to stop you. You find your way out and move along. Small stone will come, take it along with you. That's how you deal with it.
Actually, retail experience, I was Senior Vice President for Bank of America. But with great desire, I started my IT consultancy. Now I am okay, very good. But after that, I realized one fact. Why do we all think that the business is nothing but go and sell something to someone? In my view, I realized today, business is not that. Business is also that have something so that people can come to you instead of you going there. This I realized when I started my shrimp farming back in India. So today I do shrimp farming in 100 acres. After harvest, I never sell my product after going to some merchant. No, merchants come to my farm. Similarly, when you are talking about IoT, the person who found Raspberry Pi, we are all going there. He is not coming to us. So why don't you think that so far the Indian delegates, whoever is coming over here, whatever we are doing, the back in India, people are doing some traditional things. No software, no services, nothing. But still, they are making more money than whatever the so-called delegates making here. So now, with all these points, what do you think the business is? And what do you think the so-called Indians doing business here should focus on?
First of all, Navneet, you've been a fantastic moderator. I think we need more one-on-one with you also, apart from the great panel. So big round of applause for Navneet. Amazing work. I try to be. The question is, we all talked about a lot of interesting things today, and we talked about his shrimp example and innovation. And I personally feel innovation doesn't need any selling. If you have innovation, you can buy leaders, you can buy leadership. My question is that when you are in a journey of your 10x and you don't have a brand behind you, you don't have KK with you, how do you hire senior leadership? So if you have anything other than sharing vision and plans and all that, any examples of that, of how do you hire senior leadership on your path to 10x without a brand behind you, without a KK behind you? Please share that. And how do you enforce accountability in India?
Go ahead, Rajesh.
Just from the last question I'll answer it, Brazil. It's a very tough market to start the business, but we got lucky. We have some people on the ground, and laws and all are very tough, but somehow we got lucky to set our best, and it's giving us success. Coming back to you, two part of the question you asked. One was how do you hire great minds and great leaders while you don't have your own brand? So how do you attract the brand while you don't have a brand? You have a brand. Your vision has a brand. And many times people who have been working with the big brands are looking for the brand which you have. So it's a marriage. You got to find the people who are tired of big brands, and that's what's happening in India, Snapdeal and all other CEOs who came from other large companies and joined the vision and passion of small guys who did not have that kind of brand, right? So you need to believe in your brand, believe in your vision, sell it, and people will buy it. The big brands will buy it. And you said last part of your question was accountability in India. Is it like how you manage the output from people who are working in India and track it, performance of theirs?
Because of the time, I didn't want to broaden the question, but when we talked about metrics relates to your outcome is related to your results. Result comes out of accountability. So at every level, whether at the leadership level, divisional level, lower level, specifically in offshore or in India, how is your experience enforcing accountability? Meaning you are in a competitive hiring market, right? So you lose people every day. Out of healthcare IT.
It's a good question, and I understand this part of your question because the outcome sometimes with 20 people in Brazil, what I get, and sometimes with 40 people in India, which I get, is almost sometimes same. So in India, still some places you need to convert the mindset from order taking to value creation. They need to learn to ask questions, so your employees and people have to have an ability to ask questions. And the way you measure accountability is transparent model, which I'm a great proponent of agile model. You need to have a scrum call every day, what they have planned, what they are doing, have the metrics or a system where they can enter the data. If they plan to do 4 hours of work, then they do it in 4 hours. And as long as you have a tools to measure it and methodology, which is Agile and Scrum, that might help. That's helping us.
All of you are very successful running multi-million-dollar businesses. In this hostile atmosphere, when the middle class is being butchered, small businesses are being butchered, what kind of a business you suggest for a person with $500,000 or under $500,000 investment?
Please go to UK.
Globalization, yeah, that's exactly.
Go to UK.
So it's a cartel between the big businesses and the politicians.
Well, that cycle is going to go all the time. The way recession comes, the way this Democrat and Republican concept goes on, it will always go in a cycle. You got to survive with your money and you got to grow your money. That's what you're looking for. Why do you want to start a business and invest? You want a return on investment with the right business model. And what my colleague Rajesh was saying is, if you have a $500,000 money, where you would like to invest? What you know the best? What have you done all your life? Because if you are not educated enough about that idea, somebody else will take your money and you will not get the right return. So he was saying that we don't know your line of business and your expertise. If you discover that, your degree one connects people who are around your expertise. They can give you the ideas. When I was in India just about few weeks back, I met few IITians from Mumbai. These young guys, I just called them in hotel in Juhu, and I just got out of my office in marketing with them, just brainstorming. These young guys who have not even graduated, they have such a fabulous ideas. I wish, I can get out of Fulcrum today and just be an investor today and give them some money and, promote them. So there are plenty of ideas with young guys. Either if you are not able to find ideas, look for ideas in food, education. These are certain sectors where you have less tax liability, tax issues. These are promoted by governments. And so ideas are there. Young guys are bringing ideas in mobile environments. So I don't know your background, so I can't comment and can't give you 10 ideas. That will be wrong.
I'm in money services business.
Technology. Leverage technology and platform to create a value, what you know the best. Borrow ideas from forums like this and other forums. Get into your business or money business. Look at the platform, what you have. Invest more money in your same line of business, what you do. Launch a product and make more money out of it. Or you want to diversify and have somebody else run for it, take the risk, invest in that business model. So I would not like to give more advice because it's just the perspective I'm sharing with you.
Thank you, Rajesh.